To approve the agenda as published.
Fred moved the motion. Second. Alan has second. All those in favor of the approval of the agenda say aye.
Aye.
I hear no nays. It's passed. Approval of minutes.
Chair and Commission staff does not have any amendments to the minutes as presented.
Okay. Anybody out of the membership see anything that needs to be addressed here today? None. All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Alan offered. Lou will second. All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
It's all ayes. Motion approved. We will move on to the public hearing. Conditional use permit amendment and setback variance resolution. Former Weinberg Tire Building Addition 3001 Highway 61. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair, and rest of the Commission. So the item, as the Chair mentioned, we're looking at the former Weinberg Tire Building, which is now owned by Maplewood Toyota at 3001 Highway 61. The parcel is indicated by the red polygon on the map to the right side of the screen. So we do have a couple slides here that I've put up to walk through our conversation tonight. Maplewood Toyota is proposing a building addition, which would add a photo booth and 2 service bays to the west side of the building. To move forward with that, they would need a City Council approval to amend the existing conditional use permit for this property, and then design review. Earlier this evening, the Community Design Review Board reviewed the design proposed for this building and did recommend approval with some a modification to within concerned of how the color would look with the addition to the main structure. So the site is an existing car repair shop. Obviously, when it was Weinberg Tire, they focused on tires, but now it's internal use to Maplewood Toyota, but it's still auto repair. It is not a facility where any one of us would drive up as a customer and drop our car off or pick it up directly there. It's for internal use to Maplewood Toyota and how they parcel out the work and the cars amongst their properties along 61. The site is guided by the city's comprehensive plan as commercial. It is zoned by the city's zoning map as light manufacturing. As I alluded to on the first slide, the site was approved in 2004 for a conditional use permit and a setback variance for the existing building for its auto service function. So taking a closer look at the proposed site plan, the building addition would be on the west side of the building, would be 2,400 square feet in size. The addition would extend 60 feet westward from the existing building and the previous setback variance approval. So the existing west building line is where that variance was approved for in 2004. So to go 60 additional feet, that's why they're looking for this new setback variance of 196 feet. The standard would be 350 feet. That's the requirement from residential property to a repair business or any building in the light manufacturing district. And I just toggle back to this future land use map so that you can see where the light orange properties are indicated. Those are residential properties. And then again, the red along 61 and then the highlighted parcel at the corner of D and 61 are all commercial. So as I mentioned, the setback variance would be for 196 feet. This site specifically is impacted from a size and shape standpoint because of the realignment of County Road D. As I know in the other group discussed, Weinberg Tire was not originally in this building. This building was built as kind of an after effect of those realignments that occurred. So staff does feel that there are practical difficulties given the site shape and size, and that the request is in the keeping of the spirit and intent of the ordinance, which are standards for approving variances in Minnesota. The building addition, again, is oriented towards the rear or the west side of the building, will be constructed of insulated precast concrete metal panels to match the existing building. No changes are proposed to the front elevation or any of the existing elevations. A couple of notes just on terms of site issues. The site needs the applicant should be required to provide a revised site plan showing the location of the required trash receptacles enclosure. So if you got got out to the site, you might have noticed that the current receptacles were not in the existing enclosure, and so that's part of a condition that's in your recommendation tonight, is that they be required to put the receptacles in the required enclosure, but also the building addition does take the space of some of what where the existing enclosure exists. So they need to submit a site plan showing the location of a new trash enclosure, and we would require that before any building permits would be pulled. In addition, in 2004, the site was required to provide landscaping and some screening on the west side of the site with some conifer trees and deciduous trees. And if you got out there, you would see that they have matured nicely, but there are some gaps in that screening. And as we will talk about in a slide or two, we did receive some neighborhood feedback as well with concerns of screening aspects to this property. So staff is recommending that an additional 4 conifer trees be added to near the west property line where there's some gaps in that screening. And the applicant would submit that landscaping plan for staff approval to ensure that those trees get placed correctly. As I alluded, we sent a public hearing notice to properties within 500 feet. They were noticed and invited to this meeting tonight to attend the public hearing with the Planning Commission. We also invited public comment, and we did receive one letter from a resident, which was included in your staff report, and I kind of highlighted his concerns. So again, the Planning Commission will be holding a public hearing at the conclusion of the initial part of this project review. And just in terms of overall process, Design Board reviewed the project earlier this evening. Planning Commission's reviewing it now. Final decision will be made by the City Council on August 28th. And with that, staff is recommending approval of the project. The applicant does have a representative here tonight. If there's any questions more directed towards the applicant, that can happen. Staff can stand for questions. Thank you.
Is there any size requirement for those coniferous trees, Mike?
Chair and Commission, yeah, they would need to be 6 feet tall upon planting.
Yeah. So they wouldn't screen immediately, they'd have to grow into it, but that'd be okay.
Correct, and yeah, if you dig into it, Chair and Commission, like you can look at the street view of this property, and that's where the trees were a lot smaller than if you go today, and so you do see the process of them growing up. But yeah, that's our minimum standard that we require.
Was there, when was the building built? What year was that? Because
Chair and Commission, so the building was approved in 2004, so I would say 2004, 2005.
so then how come there was an approval then for a variance and then it changed because of the County Road D came in after? Or?
No, Chair and Commission, the variance was in reaction to the after conditions of County Road D. So County Road D alignment was set, and then the property was taking consideration to what that property and parcel would be as a result of the County Road D alignment, and then the variance was to townhomes that were about to be built at that same time.
So the alignment came after the building? Then?
It's all in kind of one package, Chair and Commission.
Okay.
This parcel exists because of that alignment.
Okay. And then the townhouses came after?
Everything was in that same general time period, correct?
Okay, because I just was concerned about the individual that wrote back that they knew that the building was there. That was my thought on that too.
Yeah, and I don't, Chair and Commissioner, I don't know specifically when that resident, how long he's been living there or anything like that. But yeah, that part of the city, from a residential standpoint, developed in that kind of mid-2000s period, as did that realignment and then the new Venberg building.
But Michael, didn't the Vanberg building go up before the townhomes went into play?
Chair
That's
and
what my
Commission,
recollection
that's
is.
my recollection as well. It predates my time by a couple of
Correct.
years, but
Yep.
looking at the past documents and what I've been able to gather,
Yep.
that's my understanding.
Yep. So as far as I see, the residents were aware of where they were going in.
Yeah, knew it was there, right?
How many residents, how many units are in that complex there?
Yeah, I think, Chair and Commission, our notification radius was pretty large. I mean, it's always 500 feet, but the number of properties was, I think, like 89.
So it was one response.
Yeah, correct.
So, the commercial strips over there is along 61. Behind it, you have the residential. So this person, in terms of screening, Toyota owns all the way to that major road. What is that major road now? To the,
Kind of what D, you mean, right here?
no, Cateron D, to the other side of Cateron D.
This one here?
The
Yeah.
Golden Way?
Huh?
Are you talking about the Golden Way?
It's
No.
No.
Well, what I'm trying to draw over here is there any consistency in terms of screening behind here to, differentiate between the commercial and the residential strip?
Chair and Commission, as part of this request and project, I didn't do any kind of analysis of parcel by parcel, but the 80% opaque and 6 feet tall screening requirement has been in place with the city for quite a while. But what I can say, like when you look at Mercedes-Benz on the other side, when we've had more recent dealership, either additions, remodels, or new buildings, they've been held to that same standard. Most of the dealerships do abut residential property on either side of 61, and yeah, they're held to those screening requirements. Topography definitely plays into it. I mean, we can put as many trees in on the site as we want. There's still an elevation as you go up to those townhomes as you go west that we can't account for.
Yeah, when I was reading it, the complaint, I was just like, she should be happy. It's not 5 stories going all over this. What will you do? Anyway, that's my call.
So the new trees are gonna go in to the back side of the property there, between those other evergreens that are there on Concord Lane, is that?
Yeah, Chair and Commission, if you're able to go out to the site, obviously the deciduous trees are doing a pretty good job of screening. Doesn't occur year-round, but especially as you head toward the kind of northwest corner of the site, not towards the intersection by any means, but just on the northern half of that west side, there's some gaps where some additional landscape screening could go in.
Now, we don't have to be concerned about any parking requirements because of the square footage, because they own the other property next door and everything, right?
Yeah, Chair and Commission, that came up in the CDRB meeting as well. They are definitely losing a handful of spots as part of this addition. Pretty minor compared to the site plan overall, so they are still meeting the minimums. But the big takeaway is, yes, Toyota owns the parking lot directly to the south, and they're able to manage their stock essentially, or repair vehicles. That's why in the conditional use permits recommended that they, at a minimum, be required to make sure that, there's no cars that are like parted out, that are kept outside, or all vehicles are kept in a striped space.
Did you put any flags up about impervious surface or anything?
Chair and Commission, the city engineer did review this project. It does not, it's small enough where it doesn't trigger any new stormwater requirements.
If there are no other questions, I'll open it up for the public hearing. I understand there is a representative for Maplewood Toyota. If you would like to come up and give us your name and address, please.
Good evening, Steve Berman, 18400 Valley Ridge Court, Parkland, Minnesota, representing the Maplewood Toyota group tonight.
Okay. Anybody have questions for him?
What is your role in the project? Do you have a role in the project, or?
I've done all the contracting on the past buildings for Maplewood Toyota.
Okay, good.
What is it, about a 8-month project, or?
If we get all the material. Excel seems to be the challenge nowadays.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the problem? I'm sorry.
Excel.
Getting Excel transformers or service,
Oh, sure, yeah,
electrical items.
Wow.
Still belong to me one.
yeah, yeah.
Man.
You don't see any problems with it? It seems like it's a good fit.
Pretty basic what we're doing. 3 walls in a row.
Yeah.
Have they done any core samples or anything? Know what the soil's like? Because I know across the streets, used to be a peat bog.
There is some existing borings on it, the oversized, we'd probably take additional borings on the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maplewood Toyota has had any local residents there complain about any of this project or any other reasons that you are aware of?
The only I'm aware of, the one person talking about the site plans.
Okay, so there is no other people who have complained about your presence in that area?
I haven't heard of any.
Okay. Any other questions?
There aren't gonna be any new curb cuts or anything leading into the parking lot, right? It's just that extension. Okay.
Within the existing footprint.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Yep, it's very simple. Any other questions? None? Thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
Since there are no other people present for the public hearing, I will close the public hearing. And I'm looking for any more comments. If not, we can move towards the motion for this proposal. Are there any questions, comments from our membership here? None? So somebody wishes to make a motion?
Motion to approve the conditional use permit amendment and setback variance resolution for former Venberg Tire Building Addition, 3001 Highway 61.
I'll second.
Who second? You. Okay. All right, we've got a motion. There is a second. All those in favor of approving this proposal, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passed. This will go to the city council on August 28th for the final approval. Thank you. Have a good night. Well, item F for the evening is new business, and that is election of officers.
Chair and Commission, as the agenda indicated, no report attached. Just, this is something that the Planning Commission does annually in the summer, and it's time to elect new officers. Commissioner Arbuckle is your current chair, Commissioner Desai is your co-chair. And so I kind of put it back on the group to decide what steps it would like to do. I know this, from a staff perspective, we always encourage others to get involved in a rotation, but if you're comfortable with the current setup too, that works for us as well. So I'll turn it back to the commission to have a group discussion, and then ultimately a motion needs to be made for each role.
All right, turn it over, guys. Any suggestions?
I would like to nominate Tushar to be the chairperson for the first thing I want to do, and then I have an idea for a vice chair.
Okay. Can we do both together, Michael?
Yeah, if there's general consensus,
Okay.
yeah, you can make one motion for both roles.
Okay.
I would like to nominate Lou as the vice chair.
Okay.
So,
I'm still willing to take the position still, too.
yep. How long you been doing it?
Don't even know. Not as long as the Shar.
Yeah.
All right, so there is 2 nominations for a chair and 1 for a vice chair. So we should vote for the chair first and see who sets up, and then we can see if,
And just Chair, point of order, was there a second to Fred's motion? Or there should be a motion and a second, then a vote.
you're right, my mistake. Fred made the motion. Is there a second for the chair position?
Second.
Second?
Second, John.
Okay.
Is there a reason you don't want me to be chair?
Huh?
Just change. We've got to get Lou in the queue.
So,
Yeah, I know.
so John seconded it, so now we shall vote.
Okay.
We'll go right down from the end and start.
But my question is how many meetings have you missed, too? That would be my concern, too, because you've missed quite a few meetings, haven't you?
Are you kidding? Are you
Sure.
keeping tabs of it?
Yeah, keep that list, not good.
Like you come in so late and try to pass these comments, if you really desperately wants to be the chair, by all means, I don't have a problem with you becoming a chair,
No,
but,
I was just concerned that you have missed a few times.
yes, I have missed a couple times,
I've
but,
never missed. So
huh?
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. I don't care. I do. feel
Well,
bad.
that doesn't seem to be a prerequisite, is it?
Huh?
That doesn't seem to be a prerequisite.
No, that's not a prerequisite as far
Okay,
as I know.
let's move on.
Okay, so,
So how are we voting? Are we voting for a name, or how are we?
a name, because there's two names proposed here, so Tushar or
Question. I've been to
Mr.
2 meetings.
Arbuckle.
May I abstain on my vote?
Chair and Commission, You have that power, yeah, so anyone can vote aye, nay, or abstain. So the point of, what's on the floor is a nomination of Commissioner Desai, and that's been seconded by Commissioner Eads. So that's what's on the floor right now for a vote, and if,
I'm gonna vote I'm voting present, I'm abstaining the vote.
I will vote aye.
Al?
Aye.
What are we voting aye on?
On the
Sure.
chair.
On the chair position
chair.
with me,
Oh, it's,
because that was all that was proposed.
aye. I thought we were supposed to say a name.
You got into trouble.
Aye.
Yeah, okay.
Are you aye?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye for the sure.
okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 abstention. So motion passes with a 5-1 vote. Now, you want to make a motion for the vice chair?
Vice Chair is Lou.
Okay.
Oh, so, has that been seconded?
Second?
Vote
Okay,
aye.
Thank you. Aye?
I will abstain.
Aye.
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 Motion passed with 1 abstain. So we now have a chair and a vice chair.
Okay.
Any,
Is that all of the positions that you have usually, or?
Chair and Commission, correct, there's the 2 officer positions, correct.
And I'm waiting my recognition.
How about for Secretary of State? Okay,
Okay.
next.
so next item for the evening is unfinished business. We have none. We don't have commission presentations unless there is any other comments, questions amongst commission members. None, I see. Okay. Staff presentations.
Chair and Commission staff does not have anything further for you tonight.
Okay. There are no visitors to present, so
This is a record.
move to adjourn the meeting for tonight.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.